Well, hello and welcome to this English lesson about phrasal verbs. And as you can see, this is part 3. If you didn't watch the first 2 lessons, I recommend you take some time at some point to sit down and watch those as well. And you'll get a sense of some of the most common phrasal verbs that we use in English. Again, phrasal verbs are verbs that have 2 components. And sometimes it's hard to know what they mean because the addition of the preposition can sometimes change the meaning of the actual verb. So you'll see what I mean when I start talking about them in this lesson. But once again, welcome to this lesson. Part 3, I think I will probably do a part 4, and that will round things out, and I'll have 4 lessons on what I think are the 100 most common phrasal verbs in English. So once again, welcome to this English lesson about phrasal verbs. To split up. So when you split something up, if you look at the candies on the table, sometimes when I was a kid, my mom would buy a bag of candies and then she would split up the candies. She would divide them into little piles. There were 5 of us, by the way, my brothers and sisters. I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters. And my mom would split up the candies so we all got the same amount. If you look at the far picture, though, it's a scissors cutting a marriage certificate in half. People can also split up. If someone's dating someone and they stop dating, you could say, oh, they're not together anymore, they split up. If people are married and they decide to separate, or they decide to go even further and get a divorce. By the way, when you separate, you just don't live together. When you get a divorce, it's legal that you're no longer married. And we would say, oh, they split up. Yeah, Jack and Frida, I haven't used the name Frida before. Yeah, Jack and Frida aren't together anymore. They split up a couple of weeks ago. So it means to end a relationship or to divide things up so everyone gets the same amount. 2 meanings. To act up. So a lot of machines in the world eventually don't work properly. The biggest example for me, or the biggest example in my life, is the photocopier at work. Sometimes it will act up. It'll have paper jams. It will stop working for no reason. Sometimes my car will act up. Sorry, my van. I drive vans. My van will act up. Maybe the engine won't run right, or there will be a weird shake. Actually, my blue van right now has a weird shake. It's starting to act up a bit. So when a machine doesn't work properly, we often say it is acting up, or we say, if you're going to use the photocopier, just be careful because I think it might act up on you. So it might not work properly. To come across. So there's 2 versions of this, by the way, to come across and to come across as. I'll talk about this one first. If you're out for a hike, you might come across some garbage. If you're out, I'm trying to think here. This is probably the best example. Yeah, when it means to find something you weren't expecting to find. So you might come across some garbage. When I go to school, sometimes when I walk through the school, I'll come across some students' backpacks just sitting in the hallway and no students around. So it means that you're obviously moving or walking and you find something as you are doing that. When you drive on the highway, you might come across slow drivers every once in a while, and that might be frustrating for you. To come across as, though, describes a person's personality a little bit. This guy comes across as angry. I think I come across as nice. So that was kind of bold of me to say that. It's a way to describe what you think of someone when you meet them and see them. Okay, so years ago, I had a boss who came across as friendly, and that was really nice to have a boss. He comes across as quite friendly. I know that, let's see, Jen comes across as someone who doesn't talk quickly. She's a very quiet person, so she comes across as very thoughtful and considerate. So it's how you describe how someone is, I guess. To run into, this is a very common one. Sometimes when I go to the grocery store, I run into a friend. A few weeks ago, I ran into my sister at the grocery store. Notice I switched to the past tense. This does not mean that I drove my car and hit my sister's car. It can mean that. But generally in English, if you run into someone, it means that you met them without expecting to meet them, okay? I run into former students quite regularly because some of them live in the same town as my school. So sometimes when I go to the hardware store or the grocery store, I will run into them. I will meet them by chance a little bit. It's fun to run into people that you haven't seen in a while. To hang around and to hang around with. So to hang around simply means to wait. This person arrived on a train and maybe they're waiting to get picked up. So they're just going to hang around at the train station for a while. I know one time I landed, I went on a trip, and when I landed, my uncle was going to pick me up from the airport, but I had to hang around for about an hour and wait for him because he couldn't get there at the time when I needed to be picked up. So to hang around simply means to wait. It can also mean to be somewhere for no reason. Sometimes teenagers will hang around in front of a store. Sometimes they'll hang around at the park. In that sense, it means the same as to hang out. They'll hang out with their friends. They'll hang around at the park. Those are two good sentences. But generally, it means to just kind of wait. To hang around with is used more to talk about the people someone is friends with. So if you were to say, Bob, who do you hang around with? I would say, well, mostly I just hang around with Jen, but I do have friends from high school who I actually haven't seen for a while. So I haven't been able to hang around with them for a bit. We should probably reconnect and go see a movie or something. So when you say hang around with, you're kind of mentioning specific people. Who does your nephew hang around with at school? Oh, he hangs around with some really nice kids, and they study together and they're getting really good grades. So to hang around, to wait, to hang around with, you mentioned the specific people who you are spending time with. To work out, couple meanings here. So it can mean to exercise. So a few days a week, I like to work out. I like to lift some weights. I like to walk vigorously for exercise. I like to work out. But it can also mean to solve. When you do a puzzle, you need to work out which pieces go together. When Jen plants in the flower bed, she has to work out how many she can put in each bed. Sometimes maybe, let's say your family has 2 vehicles and 3 drivers. You might have to work out who takes which vehicle when. So it can mean to work out to lift weights, but it can also mean to solve a problem or to figure something out, very similar to figure out. And then to look forward to. So this is kind of a strange one. There's a lot of words here. It means to be excited about a future event. I look forward to my birthday every year in the summer. It's a very broad space of time in which my birthday happens. I look forward to going to work every day. It's actually a good thing. You should always be happy about going to work. Otherwise, maybe you should get a different job if possible. I know that's not possible for everyone. I look forward to the weekend. I'm always excited, like it's Friday today, and I'm really looking forward to tonight when I can come home and kick back and relax. There's a phrasal verb from a week ago. So to look forward to means to be excited about a future event or a future time. To burn out. If you work too much, you might burn out. So this person, you can see, is very sad at work. This person does not look forward to their workday. This person is definitely trying to get through their day. They're trying to fend off all of the obstacles in their day. But maybe they're not succeeding at that. So they look tired. They don't have energy. Maybe they've worked 12, 13, 14-hour days for weeks on end, and they're just super tired and they hate work. We would say that they have burned out, or we would say, oh, they need a vacation, or they might burn out. I have worked with people who have burnt out. It's not nice to see someone who maybe their life is really busy, and work is really busy, and they just eventually run out of energy and they burn out. Not a nice thing. And then you definitely need a break. It's good to take a break. You can burn out at other things as well, by the way. You can burn out learning English. Let's say you're working 10-hour days and studying English 10 hours a day and sleeping 4 hours every night, you will burn out. I guarantee it. To fall apart. So this car is held together with tape because this car started to fall apart. We have things that are together, and when pieces start to fall off, there's another phrasal verb. When it starts to come apart, there's another phrasal verb. We could say that it is starting to fall apart. I think my one van is starting to fall apart a little bit. It's making some strange noises. There's some rust along the side. I'll show you in a video at some point. But I do think that my one van is starting to fall apart. It's not this bad. Okay, I haven't put tape on the side yet to hold it together. I use a lot of phrasal verbs, don't I? But definitely, once something's really old, it will start to fall apart. We have a couch where the one leg is breaking and it's starting to fall apart as well. We'll replace it someday, or I'll just put a piece of wood underneath to hold it up, to fix up. So sometimes people will buy things that are broken and they will fix it up. So they'll take some time to make it look nice, to make it look new again. Maybe they buy old furniture that has started to fall apart, and they might take it home and they might fix it up and make it look new again. They might fix it up so they can use it. It's a really good way to get things in life without spending a lot of money. If you're good at fixing things up, if you can fix things up easily, that's a great way to save money in life. This person looks like they bought an old car and they will now fix it up so that it looks like it's brand new again. To grow apart. Yeah, I couldn't find a great picture, and then eventually I found this one. When two people are in a relationship, maybe they're just friends, or maybe it's a romantic relationship, sometimes you can grow apart. Even in a family, people can grow apart. What this means is, let's say my brother and I didn't talk for a few months, and then all of a sudden it's been a year, and then 2 years. We would start to grow apart because we're not having any conversations. We're not seeing each other. We're not spending time together. We would grow apart. Sometimes in a romantic relationship, the couple will grow apart. They'll be dating for a while, maybe a year or two, but maybe the one person has interests in one thing and the other person has interests in something else, and they start to grow apart. They don't spend as much time together. They don't hang around with each other as much. And so they start to kind of live their own lives instead of spending time together. It's not nice when you see people start to grow apart, especially if you think they're a good couple. If it gets bad enough, one person might kick the other person out. Now, there's a variety of reasons for this, but it looks like this lady is going to kick out this guy. So obviously they are partners, and obviously the relationship, they're having trouble getting through their day. The relationship is just not working out. Maybe they've grown apart, past tense. Maybe they've grown apart, and it's gotten to the point where she's decided to kick him out. Maybe he did something bad. Like maybe he was been out with his friends all night, or maybe he was spending too much time with someone else. I don't know the details, but it's gotten bad enough that she is now going to kick him out. He will have to go live somewhere else. So understand that to kick out means the people are living together. Okay, they're either married or living together, and something has happened where they've grown apart, and maybe one of them has done something where they don't trust each other anymore. So whoever owns the apartment or house will kick out the other person. To pick out. Hey, that rhymes. To kick out, to pick out. When you pick something out, it means to choose. If you had lots of money and you decided you wanted a new car, you would go pick out a new car. You would go to the car dealership and you would pick out a new car. You would just look at all the cars that are there and you would pick out the one that you like the most. When you go shopping, you pick out new clothes. You look at all of the clothes in the clothing store and you try some on and you pick out some new shirts or some new pants that will fit you. So you will choose, you will pick out something new to put out. So the meaning I'm looking at with this one is what firemen do and what you do when there's a fire and you extinguish it. There's maybe a new word for you. When you extinguish something, it goes from being on fire to not being on fire. That's why it's called a fire extinguisher. That's why the thumbnail has a fire extinguisher on it. These fighters are going to put out the fire. When we have people over in the summer, we have a small campfire. At the end of the night, we put out the fire. If you have a fire in your kitchen, you need to put it out quickly so that your kitchen doesn't burn to the ground. You don't want that happening. So by the way, you should always have a fire extinguisher handy, no matter where you live. To run out of, sometimes we run out of milk. Sometimes I run out of money. I went on a trip a couple weeks ago and I had some money with me. And then eventually I thought, oh, I'm going to run out of money. I'm glad I have my bank card with me so I can use that to buy things. But yes, when we run out of milk, then we go and buy more milk. When I run out of money, sometimes I will go to the bank machine and I will withdraw more money. But definitely you can run out of different things. You can run out of gas, by the way. Sometimes you're driving and the little light comes on and says you need gas. And you think, oh, I can drive another day. But that's risky because you might run out of gas and then you'll be on the side of the road just waiting for someone to come and help you. Hopefully it's someone you can count on. Hopefully someone who you hang around with is available to come and help you. To catch on means to understand. Sometimes when I explain these phrasal verbs, you don't understand the meaning, but eventually you will catch on. If I explain it in enough ways, you will understand. You will catch on to what I'm saying. As a teacher, I'm always happy when students catch on. If I'm teaching a lesson and everyone's kind of confused, and then eventually they're like, oh, I get it. I understand. Then you would describe that as, oh, they were able to catch on to what I was saying. So it's nice when people catch on. Sometimes when you're playing a joke on someone, they won't understand what you're doing right away, but eventually they will catch on. To cut out. Now, I feel like I've talked about this one before, and I think I even used this picture. When you cut something out, it means you no longer consume it. It can also mean to take a piece of paper with a scissors and you can cut things out. But for instance, it's very popular in the world right now to try different kinds of diets. Some people try to cut out sugar. Some people who still smoke will try to cut out smoking, or they'll try to cut down on their smoking. That means to do less of it. These phrasal verbs seem to be readily available today. But I have done this in the past. I generally don't eat a lot of sugar. And there are times where I cut out sugar completely and just eat really healthy food. It's hard to do though, especially in North America. A lot of food has sugar in it. In fact, if you have never been to North America and you visited and bought bread, you would probably, depending on where you are from, you would probably find it quite sweet. We do tend to add sugar to a lot of things. So it's hard to cut out sugar. It's not hard to do. It's hard to find foods that don't have a lot of sugar. To do up. In the morning when I get ready, I wear shirts with buttons and I need to do up the buttons. You can also say button up. I can button up my shirt or I can do up my shirt. So this guy here, he has decided to wear a light purple shirt. And right now he is going to do up the top button. Sometimes when I wear a tie, I need to do up this top button. And I don't like it. I don't like wearing a tie. I don't like feeling all constricted around my neck. But if I wear a tie, I do up my top button. Or again, you could say button up. I button up my top button. To fall for something and to fall for someone. Slightly different meanings. Sorry, not slightly. Very different meanings. When you fall for something, it means you have been tricked, okay? So if you get an email that says, click here, if you send me $10,000, I will send you $1 million, whatever the scam is, you don't want to fall for that. You don't want to be tricked. This is probably the best example. So when you get a text, I got a text message the other day that said, bank account alert, click the following link to contact a representative. I'm like, I'm not going to fall for this. This is a scam. I know the status of my bank accounts. I know that my bank doesn't text, so I'm not going to fall for this. I'm not going to be tricked by this. To fall for someone, though, means to fall in love or to start to have feelings for them. Or sometimes in English, we'll say, sometimes people will have a crush on someone, and then as they spend more time with them, they'll start to fall for them. So it means I wouldn't say they're in love, but they're quickly starting to really, really like the person, and they're probably starting to fall in love. So different meanings. To fall for something means to be tricked. To fall for someone means to start to fall in love. To sort out. So again, this is another one where you don't really need the word out, but Jen and I like to sort out our garbage. We sort out our recycling. So we put our garbage in one bin. We put plastic in another bin. We have a container in the shed where we put our metal so we can bring it to the metal recycling. We sort out all of our garbage and trash. Again, you can just say sort. We're going to sort the garbage. We're going to sort out the garbage. So we don't always need the extra word, but hey, it's English. Extra words are what we're all about, I think. Sometimes you need to sort out your garbage. To take up. So this means to start something. In the winter, sometimes I take up a new hobby. I've never taken up the violin, but I could take up astronomy. I could take up photography. I could take up cooking. It means to begin a new thing where you are learning. I could take up stamp collecting. I could take up small engine repair. I could learn how to do that. So when you start to learn something or do something, we sometimes use the verb to take up. To take apart. So I have never done that with my phone. This guy seems to be good at it, though. If you want to see what's inside of something, you can take it apart. Maybe this phone is broken and the person needs to take it apart in order to fix it. I know one of my older phones, I needed to take it apart to put a new battery in. My newer phones, you can't replace the battery, which is annoying because I had to replace my last phone because the battery started to get bigger inside, but there was no way to take apart the phone. And even if I could, there was no replacement battery to put in it. So if you have something and you take out all the screws and you open it up, we use the phrasal verb to take apart. To wear out. Now, believe it or not, these jeans I think are actually brand new because sometimes for a while there, people like to wear jeans that already looked like someone had worn them out. But when you wear something out, it gets holes in it. I can't wear this shirt my whole life. Eventually, I will wear out. It's actually starting already. I will wear out the elbows and they will get holes in them. And then I can patch them up for a bit. But when you wear something out, it means it starts to be broken. You can wear out a vehicle. Like if you drive a vehicle until it has 300,000 or 400,000 kilometers on it, you would say, oh, I'm starting to wear out the brakes. I'm starting to wear out the engine. It's starting to get old and break down. To throw away. So when you have something that you don't want anymore, you will throw it away. This always bothers me when a lot of people are at a party together. Often people will throw away food because I don't know if this happens in your country, When we have a party, people bring a lot of food, and sometimes they put too much food on their plate. Sometimes kids do this. And then when they can't eat it all, sometimes they will throw it away. And I'm always like, no, no, no. Let's put it in the fridge. Let's freeze it. Don't throw away the extra food. I don't throw away food very easily. But you can use this for other things as well. We don't do this as much. We recycle more, but there are still things that you need to throw away because it can't be recycled. I'm trying to think of something. Some of the packaging that food comes in, we throw away because it can't be recycled in Canada. So when you throw something away, it means you get rid of it.